So recently I've been seeing some videos, and this is not a new thing, don't get me wrong, but recently I've seen some videos that reminded me of this whole epidemic or situation of people not wanting to date based off of preferences. And that's a whole other can of worms to open if we're talking about like appearance. But today specifically we're gonna talk about orientation reasons. I've seen a few people try to spin this as when you don't want to date someone based off of orientation, that is now hatred or discrimination towards them, and I want to clear that up immediately because that is a dangerous rhetoric. And not on top of that, to add to it, why do you think that on top of someone who already doesn't want to date you, that explaining to them that this is now hatred will help or that this will change it? And even if it does end up changing, why would you want to be with someone who didn't want you in the first place? For like I don't get it, but like if it's to bring awareness, like I'm glad they mean well, but like this is not the way to go about it. And I'm gonna show a couple clips of examples of this.
Relationship, I feel like if those kinds of things, like you're genuinely vibing with someone, right? You're like, you know what, this is the kind of person I'm ready to lock in and enter a relationship. If that stops you, you're weird. And I simply think you're weird, particularly orientation, okay? Because at least with body count, people have that fake argument where it's like, oh man, it's supposed to be this special thing. If you just see intimacy like something you can just do with anybody, I can't do it with you. I don't agree with that, okay? But someone of a particular orientation, I feel like there's no actual argument, nothing that you can even halfway stand on. Especially when they try to say something like, oh, I'm just not attracted to bi people. It's like, what? Okay, what do bi people look like? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what do they look like? Like, what's a defining feature that makes them look unattractive to you? It just boils down to homophobia at the end of the day. But we all know this, right?
Sir, no, we do not know this. I mean, I don't know about you, but I think there's a thing called turn-ons and turn-offs, like things that you look for in a partner. And that partner does not have it. I mean, you're just not with them. It doesn't mean that you hate the person. It doesn't mean that you dislike the person. You just don't want to be with them. And to his point about the whole body count situation thing, to go into that briefly, I'm gonna say while I'm not a person who's like, oh, if this person has X body count, this means this. It is definitely an important thing to consider when being in a relationship, and that is not because of the oh preserving my body, this and that. No, it's to show you at least an insight of where that person is in romantic maturity. Now, obviously, just because you have more relationships than someone doesn't mean you're gonna instantly be more mature, but it's something to keep in mind at least. So, like for example, a guy who has no relationship experience at all versus someone who has tons of relationship experience may not be on the same page, and that might complicate the relationship. And that's okay. Maybe they're just not for each other, but that's something important to know. And I know he did make the point that he can see it makes more sense for knowing if you're going into a serious relationship, the whole body count thing, but not for casual. And I agree with that. The casual thing, I mean, you guys are already doing it casually, so why not care if it's not for health? So I do see his point there. That is a good point. But for relationships, yes, of course, someone's gonna care. One, if you're going into a committed relationship with someone and you have this body count, you should not be ashamed of it if you believe it doesn't make you who you are. And two, if this is your first relationship as a guy or a girl, there is absolutely nothing wrong with wanting someone who's on the same pace as you. And this is also their first relationship, who has just a fresh, clean slate. So you guys can both build and learn about relationships. If anything, that makes more sense. But again, even if you don't understand that, this is what someone wants. This is what dating a partner. If that holds no value to you, well, it's not your relationship. So why does it matter at the end of the day? It's that simple, really. And as for the phobia, I've seen this before. This happened like a way long time ago. If you guys don't remember, I'll refresh your memory. You guys remember that whole "oh, I'm super straight" thing going on, where people were saying "I'm super straight" so that they could say that no, this means that I like biological women, not trans women. That corny type of stuff. And while it was corny, what was cornier is what made them start in the beginning. People were saying that if you are not attracted to a trans woman, that now means that you hate them as a whole people. Which again, it makes no sense and it's corny. You cannot force anybody to like you. Some people are not attracted to that. And I remember a comment saying that I want kids, and then some guy replied to him, "Oh, you could just adopt them then." Like, bro, you guys don't understand. Some people want biological kids. Some people are just attracted to biological women, and there's nothing wrong with that. Let them be them. Even if they were attracted to a trans woman and then realized that they're trans and now are no longer unattracted, it doesn't mean that they hate trans people. That is not a basis to say they hate trans people. They are simply not into that. It turns them off. Turn ons and turns off exist, whether it be appearance wise, whether it be personality wise, whether it be alignment wise. It has been a thing for ages. It's like seeing a guy watch other two males get into that and get disgusted. Well, public displays of affection are never really nice, no matter what orientation the people are doing it in. But if the guy's not attracted to that, it's probably because he's not attracted to man on man. Simple as that, really. It doesn't mean that he hates them. Going back to the body count thing, again, someone might just not be into that. Someone might want someone who's on the same page. That doesn't mean he thinks, oh, you have big high body count, you're a 304. He's just not into that. But we could get into that in a whole other video. This is the other clip I was talking about.
One thing that I hear from bisexual men is that it's harder for them to date or approach women if they are open about the fact that they've also been with or will continue to be with men. And
I'm getting this straight from the source. I have dated plenty of bi men in my day who all share the similar sentiments of like being more romantically attracted to women and would ideally like to marry women. But the large stigma around being a bi man who engages in the other side of bi-ness becomes a sort of barrier to entry, and thus it is easier and more convenient to then continue to be with men. And honestly, I don't know how to feel about being told that as the man who was with the bisexual man at the time. Well, considering I'm single, I think that speaks for itself. And this isn't necessarily to call the girlies out, more so to call everyone in to have a real conversation about the latent internalized homophobia and misogyny that's turning people off, or at least averting people from actually taking bi men seriously or being attracted to them in the first place. I think recognizing this in ourselves is the first step, because that just not in my yard business does not make you the ally that you think you are.
Brother, why would someone tell you what they're not into to show they're an ally? I mean, it's just, bro, it just means that that's not what they're into, bro. Like, and let me put it this way. This is because this is kind of crazy. This is the equivalent to, I'm not going to say the same thing, but the equivalent to a straight man going to a bi woman who has preferably been into a woman recently and saying that, oh, because you're not into men, are you even bi? Are you even bi? You might think men, you're a misandrist. That level of thing. Like, bro, let me get into this for a quick moment. I mean, I'm not bi nor a woman, but I know that just because you have an innate attraction towards someone or some kind does not now mean that you will find that person, specific person in that kind that you like. Like, you might like a color, so when you go to the store, you look for that color and you see that color, but it's not in the dress you like. It's not in the suit that you like, so you don't buy it. Or us humans, we're omnivores, right? But some people decide to be vegan. Doesn't mean that they never tasted meat before. Doesn't mean that they've never enjoyed meat before or can find meat tasty. That sort of thing. Not being attracted to something does not mean that you dislike it. Does not mean that you hate it.
Experimented once, mind you, is just a DL man. And when it comes to bi acceptance and bi attraction or lack thereof, the main reasons I see online for women saying it's a preference to not be with a bisexual man has to do with sexual health, which, like, if you're with a partner that you're actually interested in and is mature and safe, that is something that you can easily check or get tested. And I think primarily it's really unfair and dangerous rhetoric to think that every bisexual or gay man instantly has a incurable disease like HIV.
Now, this is a good point. If your main reason for not wanting to date them is because of a stigma or because of an assumption of what they might have without actually having any facts, yeah, you might just actually have a phobia. That is not right, and should not be your reason for not wanting to be with someone. If it's based off of a fact that this person has said thing, then okay. But you just making an assumption, yeah, that's just messed up and wrong. He did make a good point with that. But to his point before, to say that just because you don't want to be with them is a part of biphobia does not make any sense at all. As the equivalent to saying that this girl who just rejected this guy because she isn't in the same orientation, isn't in the same alignment, doesn't have that same energy that she wants, now hates straight people or now is a misandrist because she doesn't want to be with him because he revealed that he's a straight man. Or those guys will be like, you're not really bi. You're not really bi. You only date women. Why don't you date men? Why would you date me? That sort of thing, bro. It's so goofy. Like, bro, nobody has to date you. Simple as that. Really, nobody has to date you. Date who wants to date you at the end of the day. Even if these people are bigoted and they only don't like you, they only don't want to be with you based off of stigmas, based off of stereotypes, don't give them that attention. There's no saving someone like that in the first place. So to try and persuade someone like that into dating you is kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie. But if you're just doing it to spread awareness, again, like I said, there's a way to do that. And the way that was displayed in these two videos are not the way. Also, it is crazy to say in that last clip that people will settle for a man just because a woman doesn't want them. But they're just settling with the man, not because they really want them, but because the woman that they want doesn't want them. That's just so, that's lame. No one has to date you. People have turn-ons and turn-offs, whether it be a physical thing, whether it be something that's about you personally. Do with what's right for you. It doesn't even have to be a date. Do what is right for you.